So here are three big stories in about 3 minutes. So Zelensky was in Washington. Everybody knew that. He was meeting with Biden. He met with the Speaker of the House. He met with senators. And he did comport himself very well. I watched an interview on Fox News with him and then followed by an interview with Speaker Johnson. Zelensky was asked, hey, maybe you should talk about the border deal with the President Biden in order to get something for Ukraine. He said, the United States, the American people, they can sort this out. They don't need to hear from me. And that was the right answer. He did a good job. He did a good job all the way through, but it wasn't calculated to actually change anything today. But Biden announced a $200 million in additional military aid during the visit. This is probably just drawdown authority, which Biden already had, but that's a pittance. Now, in Zelensky's interview on Fox News, he said, look, whether it's December or whether it's January or February, I mean, we'll still stand and we'll still fight. But it's the morale of the people in the trenches. It's the morale of the people whose loved ones are in the trenches. That's what's being effective. And that was a really good answer as well. Speaker Johnson did say that he supports Ukraine. There's no question about that. But his claim is that the Democrats will not respond to him about H2, which is the border deal legislation. So that's where they are. Okay, let's look at the next story. By the way, 75.4 billion has been spent so far. So if you hear people say 150 billion or some ridiculous number, they're nuts. Okay. There was a cyber attack from Russia into Ukraine, shutting down most of the telecom. And there was a cyber attack in the United States by Chinese hackers just yesterday. There was a cyber attack back to Russia from Ukraine, attacking their central tax authority in Russia. Now, the reason that this is important is because generally when Zelensky's at an important meeting, the Russians will just bomb the snot out of Ukraine in order to try to be the bigger story. Ukraine came under heavy attack from the air and cyberspace on Tuesday, local officials said, as nearly 600 Russian shells, rockets, or other projectiles rained down. I'm still looking for more about what's going to be raining down on Ukraine during this time. Last story, this is important.
And 60,000 troops that Russia sent into Ukraine initially and that made up their entire standing ground force prior to the invasion. Of those, 315,000 have been lost on the battlefield.
That's crazy amazing that 87% of the original force sent into Ukraine is now either killed or wounded. Now, Biden's administration declassified some intelligence, and the Americans project that 315,000 casualties in Ukraine. And that's not too far from the 340,000 Russian losses that the Ukrainians are claiming. So that's where we are. It's not too far. And so it's really important that we're understanding the whole picture. Okay, those are the three big stories for today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for caring about Ukraine.